You know the top dog of the heavyweight division in Misfits?
Watched his last
Why,
fight,
is that-
bro.
is that-
Do you follow him, yeah?
Yeah, he can have a scrap, mate.
Can he have a scrap?
He can have a scrap, bro.
Is that the name you're fancying then? If you were to,
What are you guys cementing this? Are you trying to like?
Tempo Arts.
Is that his trainer's second name, McDonough?
So Tempo Arts is 2-0.
Yeah.
Peter McDonough boxer is his
So
manager.
the second name is McDonough, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
McDonough,
It's same as Peas then.
Yeah. Ooh.
oh, so that sort of.
Let's
And his name's
Hey,
Peter
this is
as
getting
well.
the
tasty now,
universe
boys.
is guiding
Yes.
us, boys. Don't worry.
Everybody were like obsessed with just bodybuilding and getting big.
Yeah.
Do you feel the kids are no more into that? It's more martial arts now. I'll do MMA, I'll do boxing. Do you think people, or is there still the hardcore gyms where people are getting after it?
When you do something from a young age, like it's all you know. It's all you know. So then you just try and anything. Like I've got an addictive personality, so anything that I do, it's like boom, boom, take the steps to get where you need to get. You know, by any means necessary.
Remember when we were jacking cars? Now it's not safe for you. You switch like a pussy little bitch. Damn, I knew you tripping. We could have been superstars. Can't help it, now I'm reminiscing. Remember when we were jacking cars? Now you better keep your distance, cause it's not safe for you. You switch like a pussy little bitch. Track hard with the kid, snatch off from the bitch. When I slide, nightlight on the blick. Bet I'm on my shit when I'm outside. So them ran down, caught them pants down. Nigga, you shitted. I knew the perk was fake.
I've seen your Instagram bio dove a little bit deep. That obviously the weight loss is the thing that
Yeah.
has made the press and pushed. Sort of just dig into that a little bit for me, just from where you are today. Will rugby the start then?
It started at 6-year-old for me, rugby. So like my dad obviously was tailoring me into rugby from a young age, 6-year-old. 6 years old, and then we went up to the gym around 14 years old. 14 years old, we started at Exercise for Less. The gym's now closed down.
Is that the one in Castleford?
No, that's the one in Wakefield. That
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's closed down, mate. I wish that gym was still open, to be honest with you. Fucking great gym. But I had my first session there, and I remember doing the 30 kilo incline dumbbells, and I remember not even warming up, not understanding the importance of warming up, and just feeling a little niggle in my left shoulder. And I remember going back home to my dad and I said to him, look, let's get to the gym, let's start back at the gym. And he basically said to me these exact words, which was, you know, let's get to the gym, but I can't train my lower body because my lower body's too big. So my dad's come from a powerlifting background.
Yeah.
So we went into the gym, and right off the bat, from 14 years old, I was training with like well-established powerlifters. So when I went to the gym then, pretty much linearly upwards, mate, I got strong, very quick. So at 14 years old, I was deadlifting like 180 kilos, squatting 180 kilos and bench pressing 100 kilos for, 10 reps quite easily. So
Just at 14 years old?
14, mate, yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
How did you get so strong so quick? Because
It's just you are your environment at the end of the day. You boys know that yourself. So you are your environment, and we're training with grown men at 14 years old. So that that reflects on you big time.
Are they just pushing you then? Is that what
they're pushing me that foot, mate? Yeah, they're pushing me that foot. There's a guy called Andrew Pudsey, he was called, and I thank him to this day, mate, because he started the trail for me. Do you know what I mean? He started the trail for me to get to where I am now, of my knowledge and everything that I know now, and I thank him for that. So he did it with my dad, and then there were me, my brother, Andrew Pudsey, my dad, and then we sort of built up a little community, because then I started to play rugby at the same time. And then obviously playing rugby at the same time, we got all the boys in the gym. And we're pretty much turning everyone into animals, basically.
How does powerlifting affect rugby league? Is it rugby league you did?
Yeah, rugby league, mate, yeah.
Does it make you a lot stronger on field?
It makes you a
slow
lot
down
stronger,
bit?
but I think at the time where we were so 14 years old, we were under 14. So when we were playing, we were in Division 3, I think, at the time. So when we were in Division 3, we sort of like were beating teams in Division 3 quite easily, and out of nowhere we were beating Division 2 teams, Division 1 teams, and we were holding our own. And I think that were a reflection of the gym work that we were doing, because no other lads at that time, at 14 years old, were putting in the graft like we were. because again, in society, like people always say things like, "Don't lift weights till you're 16 years old." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't lift weights till you're 16 years old, and I think, you know, whatever you want to believe in, that is whatever you want to believe in it. But at the end of the day, we got results from that. Do you know what I mean?
They're saying don't lift weights at 16. Obviously, you're going to be a huge proponent of S&C and being strong as an athlete.
Yeah.
As I know you mentioned there a little bit about the powerlifting and whatnot. How did the boxing come to be then?
The boxing, so I started boxing around the similar time. So I picked up a scholarship around 14 years old, Featherstone Rovers, and then I played there for around a year, and then the second year I went to Castleford Tigers. What time was I? 16 years old I went there. So what was the question again?
Just the boxing transition.
The boxing transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're always doing it at the same time.
Because you mentioned you were doing some amateur stuff and that. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I were amateur boxing at 14 years old. So I went to the schoolboy ABAs, won that. So I've got three brothers. So me, my older brother, my younger brother, we all won the schoolboy ABAs. So we all boxed together at the same time, similar time at White Rose Boxing Club in Wakefield. And then, so we were always like doing that for a period of time. But I was the one at the time who took it seriously with rugby. As my little brother got scouted for Bradford Bulls, but then he did his ACL in his knee. My older brother didn't take it as seriously, but he was going into his PT venture. And then I started basically taking it seriously with my rugby. Then I chose rugby over boxing at the time.
What's the age gap with the brothers there?
So my brother is 30 years old. My little brother is 23.
I think it's massive that you find that having a bit of a brotherhood, you're all probably fucking about fighting and wrestling.
Yeah.
Who's best?
Listen,
at
if my
this?
brother's watching this right now, I used to strangle my brother till he went blue, honestly. In the bedroom, mate, honestly. I used to strangle him till he went blue.
I once watched John Jones discussing, like, why have you become such a freak athlete? And look at his brothers.
Yeah.
Competitiveness and that
We had
pushing each
mate,
other.
we've still got it now. You know, we've still got it now. It's still there. It's always going to be there. Even my older
who's
brother.
Alpha?
Ah, mate, well, you know what I mean? I've got to be humble in that a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't know who's Alpha, mate. We'll have to see. Time will tell. But yeah, my little brother, he's sort of eased off the gym a little bit now. But I think my brother's a PT at JD Gyms in the JD Gyms North, and I'm PTing clients at P's Gym, Golden Team Gym. But me and him, you know, we have a good relationship, and he used to own a gym in Wakefield called Trinity Boxing Club. He's given that up now. He's working in JD Gyms, and he's building himself back up.
Nice.
So yeah, we have a good sort of like relationship, and we speak about boxing all the time.
Going back to boxing and you and your two brothers winning the, did you say ABA schoolboys?
ABA schoolboys, mate. Yeah.
What's the chances of that? Three brothers all
I
coming
know,
up in
yeah,
different
yeah.
ages and all winning the
It
schoolboys.
was great, mate. Do you know what it is? At the time, you don't appreciate things, but that's generally how life works. You don't appreciate it in the current time, and then as life goes on, you look back and you think, "Wow, man." Do you know what I mean? Even on a little scale like that, schoolboys, like let's be straight, boys. Like everyone wins the fucking like the schoolboy ABAs. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like absolutely great, but do you know what I mean? I appreciate it now looking back. Do you know what I mean? I won it after 4 bouts. Like, it's very easy to get into. Let's be real, but looking back now, it's times that I'll cherish. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very. It's very. You know, I appreciate it a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Once you'd done that, then once you'd made that achievement, did you shut off from boxing, focus on rugby league?
Focus on rugby league, yeah. But that one, I wasn't thinking with my own faculties, mate. To be honest with you, I was thinking with other people. You know, money. Everyone's thinking, oh, you get money, you get money, you get money. But the thing is if I knew what I knew now, I'd have gone back and boxed. But listen, this is life lessons, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Where were you playing position-wise in rugby?
I was back row, but throughout my childhood, I played 6, 7. I was very all around, you know what I mean? So, like, I was 13, back row, 6 and 7, and I also did a little debut on fullback.
Did you? When you were coming through the Cass Academy there, you meant, who were the faces or names that I'd recognise there?
I played with Tom Holmes, Ash Hobson, Will Mayer. Tom Holmes, I think we're at Featherstone, yeah. Featherstone.
I grew up kind of with Tom, our best mates with his brother Danny.
Yeah,
You
he's a
probably
good
met
lad,
him as
Tom.
well.
He's a
He
good
played
lad,
rugby.
Tom.
Dig into that. So that when it made the press with this weight loss transformation, what was the trigger there for that? Were you just fully immersed in being as strong as possible? What it the bodybuilding that were making you eat all that food? What were going on in your mind there? Like I went into bodybuilding probably 21 to 28.
Yeah.
I was fairly religious with it.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of your life, and it can become a bit tunnel vision. That's all you're thinking about. How big can I get? What can I do? All this stuff that comes with that. Where did that obsession come from with that? Was that just something that came to you where you're like, I like the size, I like this, I like what was going on?
It's just installed in me from a young age, mate. Like, I think when you do something from a young age, like, it's all you know. It's all you know. So then you just try and anything. Like, I've got an addictive personality, so anything that I do, it's like boom, boom, take the steps to get where you need to get. By any means necessary.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like trying to I didn't try to. I force fed myself to a point where I was just eating. It were probably 10,000 calories. Now I'm 6 foot. So I were looking at the time at Eddie Hall, who was 6'3". He's 6'3". The geezer's 6'3". So like, and 6'3", and he's force feeding himself, and he's on, all sorts of substances. I'm a natural athlete at the time, so he can funnel that food through his body,
synthesizing it easier, etc.
Yeah. So like, I'm doing all that sort of stuff at the time. I didn't have any job. So I'm living and breathing it. I'm going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Who's paying for the food?
Oh, listen, my family's paying for the food, but then I'm paying. The family's paying for the food, but then I'm getting a warehouse job at the time. And at the time, I remember a period in my life where I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I wasn't driving, and then I would walk into the warehouse job at 6 o'clock, working 8 hours, and then coming home and lifting weights. Do you know what I mean? And just trying to like fund my food that way, kind of thing. It's a lot of food, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Were you just lifting bodybuilding style then, just split
It's
workouts?
It's like a mixture of both. So it's power building. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're lifting weights in a hypertrophy format, high reps, but you'll always prioritize your low reps and build strength to start with. And so that's what I did. And I was very obsessive with it.
Logbook, everything methodical.
Logbook to a certain extent, yeah, but I feel like not like you see in this day and age.
Yeah, it's got crazy, hasn't it?
It's got really crazy.
I think Jordan Peters were the main man for that.
Too silly, man. Too silly. I just think
over scientific.
You've got your brain for a reason. You've got your faculties for a reason, and so like, why you got to go around writing? You can remember this stuff, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I've lifted 100 for X today. I know
yeah,
where I'm at.
Yeah. Exactly,
so,
mate.
What size did you? How big did you actually get? Weight?
I got to 24.5 stone. I think I was. I think 24. What was it? 100 and. I think I remember the peak I was 147.5 kilos. I was.
And what age is that?
20 years old. I
20.
was.
Because I went on your Instagram. I saw a photo from. I think you were 16 on it. You were stood in the kitchen, tensing, all ripped up.
Yeah.
And I scrolled a little bit up. I saw a video of you deadlifting, mate. At 20 years old. I'm like, how the fuck do you get from that size to that size in 4 years? Because I remember I used to try and bulk, man. I used to try and force.
Some people have just got that genetic gift, though. Do you know?
Like,
if you're a natural athlete, then you can lift that weight.
You know what it is with my family? I don't know what it is, but we've always got massive legs. I don't know what it is. We've always got like these trunks. Just weird. My brother don't make most of his potential, and respectfully, I'll say that to him right now, and he don't mind me saying that. But I think out of all my brothers, my younger brother has the peak potential out of us all.
Yeah.
But he hasn't maxed it. You know what I'm trying to say? But yeah.
I think your family must have took my family's leg gym then.
Yeah. I tell you one thing I'll bring up there, just what you've made me think about there. When you were doing all that force feed, I don't think I've ever force fed to that excessive amount.
Yeah.
I had to definitely, I was religious in terms of eating every 2 hours and trying to do something to get the calories in.
Do you know what it is?
Did you struggle with your digestion?
Yeah, this is the thing. So I had a conversation with myself about this. I have a conversation about this frequently with myself, which is, if I were to tell myself now, let's do it again, I don't think I could do it. The reason being I don't think I'd do it is I was ill with it mentally. You haven't got to be all there. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't all there with it. I was going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Who wants to go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning? Do you know what I mean? So then I was force feeding myself, and you know, I've always been that guy in the family who's, my family members always be a little bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Have you boys ever got that? Or what?
Dude,
Like,
I'm probably
a little bit like,
I'm probably
you
dark.
know,
I
like
think I'm dark
not
shade.
to society's structures. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, you're a little bit weird, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Did you just, when you felt like that, did you just lean into that more then?
Yeah, I think I've always stood stern on what I believe in. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think it's important to do that, mate. I'd die by that, to be honest with you. 100%.
You know, from going from that big, from being 16 to 20 and having that big jump in weight, could you, I've obviously never been probably above 14 stone. How do you actually feel carrying that much weight? Does it?
Well, put it this way. So I was playing professional rugby. I was boxing, obviously. So very fit. Obviously, you know, this is the thing from the outside looking in, doing 3-minute rounds of boxing, which is the typical amateur standard of boxing. On the outside looking in, if you've never boxed, it's very easy. You think, oh, it's easy to do 3-minute rounds because you're looking at professionals doing 12 rounds. Now, you need to be very fit to do that. It's very hard to do that. So I was going from amateur boxing to professional rugby, being very fit, to then walking up a hill for 50 meters and being out of breath.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that just because it's sport specific?
Because obviously I was force feeding myself, having 10,000 calories a day and not having your food being utilised and digested. It just sat on me. That's why it stored as fat. Obviously, you boys know yourself, when food gets digested and utilised, it gets put to the right places, kind of thing. It wasn't getting utilised or anything because I was training once a day, and I was just force feeding. I was shoveling the food in.
Yeah.
You think if you'd have counted your calories, what you're burning compared to what you're eating, you could have probably worked it out a bit better. Let's say if you're burning 5,000.
I think if I were to go back and do it now, I would. The best way to go about a diet for performance is foods that you can utilize and digest efficiently. So, like, I don't know if you boys have heard of the vertical diet. Stanifedine. So that's what I approach now. That's what I use now. And I use my own little twist to it in my own ways. Because although that diet is good, I like to utilize foods that are quite dense at times when I've got a heavier session with boxing or the gym. Because white rice is easily digestible. That's a big part of his plan, is white rice. It's easily digestible, but I like to add in more sort of dense foods at times.
What are you looking at there, like avocado, oatmeal?
Yeah, avocado, maybe wholemeal toast.
Yeah.
Seeded toast, whatever it may be. And that, for me, just fills me. You know, like if I've got a squat session or deadlift session, I'll get like a bread in because it fills my stomach up, and obviously the importance of squatting is filling your diaphragm up. Everybody knows that. So white rice can sometimes just go through me. So I need to do bread or something like that. You know, so I use the vertical diet to a certain extent, but I use my own knowledge of my own diet as well. Do you know what I mean?
Were you an advocate? I'll probably fanboy bodybuilding stuff here. Did you ever follow John Meadows?
John Meadows, yeah, I know John Meadows. He's recently just passed away. God bless his soul, yeah. But yeah, I know John Meadows.
I studied him. He was sort of one of the
really good. My dad actually, my dad really watched him a lot. My mum watches him a lot. I still watch his old videos now.
I watched him when he used to train with Antoine Valiant.
Oh, right, Anton, yeah. Oh, he's great, man.
Because he was like one of the first YouTubers I really got.
And he went through a bad little phase of his life, and then he came back and he got onto the Olympic stage, didn't he? Yeah.
He was a genetic freak, though, when he always
really good, mate. Really good. Were you Canadian, him?
French Canadian.
That's it. Yeah. Really good, mate. I loved all them bodybuilders. I know him inside.
I used to just, when I was really into bodybuilding, that's all I used to watch.
Really?
I just used to be fanatical about...
I think I was watching Wrong Boys, me. I was watching that Zeus. Did you ever watch
him?
Zeus. I was watching him and I was watching that.
How many times have you been in a sauna after watching Zeus?
Well, not coked up with prostitutes.
Yeah.
Why, what's that story?
Because he just looked...
What is the Australian kid?
New Zealand boy, or
Australian? I think Australian or Kiwi. And
yeah.
He was just ripped up and just like...
No, I was
15, 16.
I was watching like Branch Warren.
You see, that guy, I always said to myself, for some reason with that guy, I wish he lifted with a bit cleaner form.
Yeah.
Because he were always like really like... Rah. Do you know what I mean? And he had a solid physique as well. Denseness because of the heavy weight he lifted, yeah. Ronnie Coleman.
I've been out this bodybuilding world a while now. I go to occasional gym, but I'm more just to maintain sort of a bit of fitness and weights now. Do you feel especially for my era. I know you're younger than me, so when
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
in my 20s, bodybuilding were a thing that a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Especially around here.
Yeah.
You had like your hardcore gyms. We train at like Bodyworks, Ultimate Physiques in Castle was sort of a bit of a
Yeah.
hub for people to go to, and everybody were like obsessed with just bodybuilding and getting big.
Yeah.
Do you feel the kids are no more into that? It's more martial arts now. I'll do MMA, I'll do boxing. Do you think people, or is there still the hardcore gyms where people are getting after it?
It's tough, man. I think the perspective of the fitness industry has changed completely, to be honest with you. I think because of social media and how it's been directed these days, I think it's very much that kids are steering towards instant gratification.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to put the work in. Now, I'm only 25,
Yeah.
but I think I just reached the end of this whole putting the work in for to reap the rewards kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've sort of saved myself within now society. They're kind of like they're missing the loophole. They're missing what's important, and they're just looking at these YouTube boxers and all this other stuff. Respect to them, do whatever you need to do, but no one's willing to work. No one's willing to work hard these days. I don't think
not for a long period of time.
No, it's you got to remember who's got a phone these days. Everyone. So everyone's down at the phone. So that shapes your reality to a certain extent when you're looking at your phone. Look how much social media is like directing people these days. That's my opinion. Anyway.
All hacks these days. Well, everyone's looking for the hack on how to get big, quick, how to get fast, shreds.
Instead of going for what's your 5-meal plan in terms of nutrition? What's your cycle these days? That's what it is these days. People look for the best cycle.
Yeah. Not getting the basics down.
Yeah, the basics, and everyone's doing all this, putting, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but the cuffs on the fucking wrists and all these other quote unquote like special exercises and stuff like that. You can't beat your squats, your bench, your deadlifts, your pull-ups.
And about the cuffs on the wrist where they like attach a wire to it and do all that.
All this sort of stuff when people already ain't got the mind-muscle connection.
Yeah.
So why are you doing that? Why are you doing that when you haven't already got your mind-muscle connection? Do you know what I mean? So like,
do you think it's because it's become more? There's money involved now.
Yeah, exactly.
Online coaches. I want to sell this item.
The society's direction, and at the end of the day, people follow the trend. People see people do what they see. The phone's doing to a certain extent.
Yeah,
they see what the phone's doing. And
I still do that now, even though I've got decent base knowledge. I'll see like a video on TikTok of someone doing like a little. Someone will be shredded up and be like, "Oh, this is all I do," and it's them doing like a crazy. I'm like, "Oh, I might try that."
Yeah. You get dragged into it, mate. You get dragged into it, but you know the bread and butter.
You
know the bread and butter stuff. You can't beat the bread and butter stuff. Like, you boys now mention to me the best physique bodybuilder, dense-wise, size-wise. Like, who would you say?
I don't follow it enough now, so like the ones.
So I'll say Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. Oh, do you mean of all time?
Yeah. Just but I'm saying like it's common sense. Like it's Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
What did he do? Did he wear cuffs?
It was raw, wasn't it?
Did he do all this stuff? So I mean,
later
on in life he's in a wheelchair and all this sort of stuff. But Jay Cutler used a similar approach.
Who was he? He used to like that German. I used to like that. Dennis Wolf.
Oh, Dennis Wolf. Yeah.
He was a beast.
Dennis Wolf for quality.
Because when I got into it before the internet, really. There was some internet, but I had to. There was a place near here called Affordable Supplements.
Yeah.
And I had to go travel in there, and you got to speak to them, and then I'd get my mum to get me magazines or whatever, and you'd have to like methodically work through it.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of like gravitate to gyms and then get guided into it a little bit more. Then, like you said, now I just think people just haven't really got that. They ain't got to work for it as much anymore.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. I could be wrong because there might be pockets of gym where people are proper getting after it.
Yeah.
I just don't see when we were younger going out like 2021, man. Everyone was used to the girls and just massive.
Yeah.
It was like it was a bit of a trend.
Yeah.
I feel that sort of. You just started getting into MMA a bit then, didn't you? And people started to learn to fight properly and doing stuff like that. It seemed to be a different era almost. Do you feel that, ask you a question, we asked it off camera, do you feel this, all the power work you've done, the strength you've built up, does this cross over to boxing?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah, I believe so. Because hooks with your core, all this sort of stuff, I feel like, I don't know. Have you boys ever sparred anyone heavier than you? like, have you sparred anyone heavier than you?
Yeah, a few times, yeah.
So like you're lighter in body weight, yeah, and so you feel their presence, right? So they're onto you with their presence. That's strength, right? That's body weight, whatever you want to call it, yeah. Like I've been lower in body weight before, focusing on fitness, and their sheer presence, strength, if you want to call it that, takes away my fitness. So then my fitness is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So strength to a certain element, as much as people say you've got to be fit, I feel like there's a difference between like getting fit to fight. You've got to be fit to fight, but I feel like you've got to be, you know, people always say to you, focus on fitness. I feel like focus on fight fitness. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think there's a difference.
And how does
fitness.
How does that look for you?
What do you mean?
So when you're saying fight fitness, are you doing something specific when you're training to do? Like, is it just more sparring, more?
Yeah, like obviously building your fitness is like building your interval runs or whatever else and stuff like that. You know, just building your punch count on the bagging around and things like that. But I feel like fight fitness is you've got to go down to the nitty and gritty of it, and you know, it's hard to explain, mate. But
I know what you're saying with the presence. Conor
yeah,
McGregor
yeah, like
explains
the
it well on his
presence.
documentary.
It's hard to explain, mate. Yeah, like you need a full rounded thing. I think that's what I think anyway. You can't just be fit and then take your body down and drain yourself down and get to a certain body weight, because they'll take it away. They'll take it away. They'll come on top of you, and their presence will just sap it away. You need the full collective, full rounded sort of thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah. Me just being a fan of boxing, do you then, is your focus on when you're hitting him, you want to hurt him?
Yeah, definitely.
That wants to cross over in that when the shots are selected.
Definitely.
It's to hurt. It's not just to win a 12 rounder, 8 rounder, whatever the rounds may be. You want to put them away.
Yeah, definitely, mate. You've got to do that, and at the end of the day, you don't get paid for overtime. There's that popular saying at the end of the day, and I feel like, you know, you can't. You've got to pace yourself at the same time. But you know, when you throw a shot, you can't be throwing. You know, you've got to come through with a shot. Anytime you throw a shot, you've got to commit to a shot. In my opinion, that's what I've learned with P. You've got to commit to a shot. You can't be throwing a shot and thinking about what's coming back at the same time. That's what I've learned. And sometimes you're wary in your mind and you think, throw a shot, be wary of what's coming back. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So throw a shot and commit to it. Have your defense be right at the same time. You know.
So if you're so I understand that. So if you're hesitant with that shot, or you're thinking what's coming back, you're not committing.
Yeah.
The chances are you're going to get hit back anyway.
Yeah, you've got to take control at the end of the day. Yeah. Throw a jab. You're in control. You're there, being controlled. Do you know what I mean? And you know, to be 50-50, doing all this stuff, it's 50-50 in it at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
Does body mechanics, size, power, all this stuff, does that dictate the style of fight people have? Because I watch coaching, and I've never been involved with boxing or MMA, anything like that, but I just watch it as a bit of a business head, trying to understand what's going on, all this sort of stuff. Does a coach have to bring the best out your physical attributes versus just a generic style of boxing, or should you be formed into a style, if that makes sense?
Explain that a little bit.
So what I'm trying to get at is, like, does the coach try and bring out your reach, your size, your power, your stamina, all these attributes that come
he'll put to you what's best for you in terms of your attributes. You know what I'm trying to say. So then it's all going to be dependent on your opponent, obviously. So that's obviously why over a 12-week period, let's say you're up to a fight, you're training with an opponent, and you'll spar with different people. So then you'll use different things, and you'll practice different things on bags, pads, up to the bout, and you'll learn different things. Now, a few weeks ago I was sparring southpaw. Now, everyone knows it's a bastard sparring southpaws. Typical thing, be on the outside foot, the right hand's there, straight over the top. And so it's just difficult to, like, it's difficult at times, but you've just got to navigate differently through different sparring partners, and you can't really train one way per se. to train for, because everyone's different. You're going to be inspiring different people. You're going to be fighting different people. So you know, it's
be able to adapt and change.
Yeah.
Is that a big part of fighting then, the ability to change
adaptation? Yeah, I think the adaptation. I think a lot of people these days they spar and they'll have one specific body type, get discouraged because they don't do well against that body type, and then they'll take it into the next spar. They get discouraged, and they won't perform how they're supposed to. But there's different body types, like styles make fights. That's a typical saying in society or whatever. So like, you've just got to make sure that you don't get discouraged. The important thing, don't get discouraged and just keep going. There's different body types and styles make fights.
I feel like you'll be the perfect guy to answer this question. We talk about it. From having all that size and your joints and ligaments are used to holding that weight and working at whatever volume you're working at, when you come down to a different size, the size you are now, do you feel like your ligaments and joints give you more strength and power when you're throwing shots? I've been watching your pad videos. You seem way too explosive for
way too explosive. So my brother was saying this to me. He says, "Why, why do you never pick up injuries?" And he said, and I said to him, "It's because I always stretched every day from a young age. I've always stretched. I feel like stretching and tissue work is the importance of everything." You look at any bodybuilder as well, like I was watching Jay Cutler the other day and stuff like that. It says the importance of him getting to the Olympia stage and winning and for Mr. Olympias is tissue work. And I think tissue work is so important. I think looking after your body, I think training, a lot of people think, oh yeah, training is good, but training, what people don't realise is you're breaking your body down. Now what you're going to do when you're away from the gym, you got to then recover. So I were always like, I over-exaggerated recovery. So in my back garden, I've got a cold tub, a hot tub. I'll do an ice bath.
Doing this mornings?
Sorry, say that again?
Is this usually on the morning? Or is after?
I'll do it after a session, mate. Yeah, I'll do it after a session. So I'll do a cold tub, a hot tub. I'll stretch after every session. Like you see a lot of people these days, they think, I've done my session now.
Chill on sofa.
Let's bounce.
I'm a fucker for that.
Let's bounce. And do you know what it is? It's very easy to just miss because you think to yourself, I've done my deed. Yeah. You know, I paid my dues. Do you know what I mean? But then it's like you need to do the stuff that's boring. I always feel like that's a big part of progress as well, is doing the things that are boring.
Yeah, master the mundane. It's going to pay off in the every areas, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's time for me. It's time.
Yeah, but everybody's got. I get that, but you could.
I could.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of them where you're saying it's time, but it's like you've prioritised your time to that session.
So add some more time onto it too.
There you go.
That makes sense. And the worst thing is, I did it today. I did pads for an hour with Daryl. I got straight off, sat in my car, 45 minutes driving home. I got home and I thought, I should really be doing all my recovery stuff now, but I ain't got much time. And then instead I sat on my phone 45 minutes making a video.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Big truth comes out in wash there, do you know what I mean?
There's no denying that.
That's it, man.
It's true, most will never want to do the mundane stuff. And I think when you're a professional, which is where you're heading to,
definitely.
Then these all small percentages add up. Because you can stay active for longer. You can show up to training in a better situation. Yeah. Then you're doing all the stuff. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? It's I always think like that. Even in business in my head, the small things or foundational things matter. People have all these flashy stuff here, there, and everywhere, but if you're just doing
in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people don't do them because they don't believe, they don't really buy into the idea in the first place. So like, I think a big part of people like not doing it or quitting, for example, is because they don't really believe in the idea in the first place. Mm-hmm. So like, am I going to stretch after the session? Well, I won't stretch because it's not really going to do much for me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't really see, you always see the grafting in videos or whatever it may be, and then you see people training, and then you don't see the other stuff afterwards, kind of thing. And so you always think that a lot of people are built with a mentality of like, the harder I train, the more I'm going to get out of it. But you've got to train smart these days at the same time, in my opinion. You've got to train very, very smart. Recovery is important, stretching is important, hot and cold is important, tissue work is important. And I do all of that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever visit an osteopath?
What's that?
Have you visited an osteopath before?
No.
You'd be getting some cracks out of him.
You've got to visit. Especially if you're into alt tissue work. I went and seen one yesterday. He gets me to do this thing in like a press-up position where I'm only on my knees, and he's like, hold your weight there, as if you could fit a bank card underneath here and just I was just holding my weight like that, and my forearms were that like tight and pumped up. I couldn't even hold myself up like
Really?
this. So it loosened all my forearms off and gave me like little workouts to do.
Yeah.
Just and I know this because when I do any pulling or any like hanging, my forearms just blow up straight away, and my rest of my body doesn't get a chance to work. So all my body's just been misfiring. I started seeing this osteopath called Paul about 2 months ago, and I had a fucked back. My shoulder was fucked from scaffolding, and now he's just slowly just got me realigned and starting to get all my body firing again. I wish I need, like, especially having this conversation, I should have definitely took recovery.
What do you
way
think
more
of
serious.
chiropractors?
Well, a chiropractor is like a simple down version of an osteopath.
Just
Right,
crack, yeah.
Whereas an osteopath will
Is that what it is?
realign you.
Is it the crack like
Alignment of the bone structure, I think.
Right,
It's probably a more scientific explanation, but
an osteopath is way more in depth though, because they actually realign your body, then they fire your muscles, and then they do all the cracking and everything. So it's
I'll
just
have to connect with his man there.
Yeah, link me up,
he's,
mate.
he's a good guy, yeah.
Definitely, I'll have a look
And
at that.
what's Jack
Oh yeah, Jack Waldron.
Jack Waldron? That's the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
You might know him actually. He's from Wakey.
What's his name?
Jack Waldron.
Jack Waldron.
He owns
What does he do specifically?
He owns a gym and he's an osteopath. He's like,
What's his gym called?
oh, I have no idea.
I'll find out now. But he switched on with stuff like that.
So switched
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
He-
Because I never knew what chiropractors did. I knew they aligned you and cracked you, and you've seen all these on YouTube with a crack in your neck.
Yeah.
When I went to osteopath, I've not committed to it yet, but like you can see he knows what he's talking about.
he does.
And I think for sport specific people, you want to make sure everything's firing 100%.
Yeah.
Then it's probably someone who I think he'd be a
The
good
thing
asset.
is, with all that is like it helps. I definitely believe it helps, but you can't let it all, at the same time let it get to your head.
Yeah. I need
Where
that to
when you
perform.
don't do it, you're gonna be weaker for it. Like boxing, like sports boxing specifically, is a warrior's sort of like game at the end of the day, innit? So like, if you don't do it, for example, what you're gonna do? Just like your trainer messages you, we've got sparring, let's cancel sparring because you ain't had a massage.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but let's say you've obviously got good technique, you know that all power comes from down here and stuff like that. Let's say if something's misfiring or you've got a tight calf on your backhand and you feel like you're losing power.
Yeah.
He could go through your body, find out because your calf's overworking and it's not letting anything come through, and he could loosen all that off and bring all your power back.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just see him every 3 weeks, meaning he just realigns.
Yeah,
and I feel
it
back
depends
to
on the level
scratch.
of percentage of where it's mentally, you know, where it's at in accordance to your body. Like, I think that's what it is. So, like, if I know, like, it's at, like, 80-90%, I'm good to go. But if you know mentally in your head, that's fucked.
Yeah.
I need to go see a massage. Let me cancel this sparring. You know, the ego will get involved, but you need to do what you need to do.
You mentioned mind-muscle connection with the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
How, when you mention all this stuff here, I'm just trying to think about it. How connected are you to your body in a sense of being aware of what's going on? Are you super in tune with it?
What's that, sorry?
Are you in tune with your body? Do you feel like...
What, with bodybuilding?
No, just in general. So like there,
In
you know, you're
general.
saying like if it's ego and
Yeah,
this, that,
I
and
think
the other-
over time, like lifting weights and just doing different variations of the just training and different training regimes, different training patterns, different exercise selection, different rep ranges and things like that. I understand my body down to a T.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think I understand my body. You know, I know when something's off. I see all these people wearing
Polo straps and
and across your chest and things like that. And I was speaking to a guy yesterday actually at the Golden Team in the gym, and he was saying to me that, you know, it's really good because I'm a little bit pissed off that I had a bad session, but at the same time it said to me that I was fatigued. But it's one of those things where within boxing, I think you've got to go a bit warrior sometimes, and so, you know, sometimes you're going to have them sessions where you are fatigued. But I don't believe... I've never tried them to sort of like judge on it on that level, so I can't really go into depth on it on that level.
I
but
tried a Whoop watch for a while. Have you seen these?
Yeah, that's
Mate,
what I mean.
I put it in the bin after
And it
about a
can get
week.
to your
Do you know why I
mind
put
a
it in the
little
bin?
bit.
It was saying, mate, I swear I was sleeping and waking up feeling refreshed. And
Yeah,
I look at my recovery score on my sleep score and it was like 13%.
yeah.
I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Because
fuck
then,
off.
because
then
then,
you're gonna go to a session. Let's say you do a superset session.
I was more doing mine for just general business. I'm burning out. I'm fucking doing all these projects. How do I
Yeah.
feel? I'm like, I'm waking up feeling good, looking at that and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
got a rest today. Got to fucking take it a bit easy. I just put that in bin straight away.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I mean. It can get to your head, can't it?
But Whoop, if you want to sponsor us, we still take a sponsor.
Yeah. We'll get the sponsor. Give me some freebies, lad.
But I think you're correct with that. Maybe people now, there's probably a balance, because if you're in tune with your body, then you're going to be aware probably when you need to how deep you need to dig the hole versus am I filling it back up correctly? Is it fucking done right?
What are you going to do when you're sparring? Are you going to look at your wad?
You're not here now.
You're not going to, are you? So, like, you're fucked in a spar. Oh, let me look at my wad. Right, I'm fatigued. Right, let me take a back foot. All right, so let the guy pag me then.
Yeah. I understand what you're both saying here, but I'm going to use the spar that I had with Luke Kelly as an example.
First or second?
First. So I'd trained hard all week. He messaged me on a Friday afternoon when it was my rest day, and I'd been working all day. And he's like, "Do you want to spar with Luke Kelly tonight? Help him out." I'm like, "Go on, then I'll do it. I'll jump in." And I went in there fatigued, and after probably 30 seconds at first round, because my body was fucked, I was just fucking. I turned into a bit of a punch bag, and I know that. And I were only 2 or 3 weeks out from my bare knuckle fight, so I knew I was fit.
Yeah.
But because I was fatigued, so if I would have been able to see on my watch, "You're fatigued this day, you need a rest," I know that my performance isn't going to be good, so I could have known I was tired. I could have said, "I can't today, I'm fatigued, I'll do it another day."
Yeah.
But instead I went in tired, it could have knocked me back a bit. So in a way, it's good if you can really study the watch and then understand your body. Yeah. But I know what you're saying, as in, sometimes you've got to have that worry mentality, like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway.
You
have got to worry.
I believe so, yeah, I believe so.
Can go either way, can't it?
Yeah, I believe so. You've got to have the worry mentality because... Yeah.
So we're never going to see you in a polo strap now.
No.
Not unless some sponsors hit him up.
Listen, never say never. Like, the way, you know how the world is these days, mate. But, like, it is what it is.
Fast forward a little bit now, so we might blur some of this out, because I don't know how much you want to give away, but just, I'm not going to mention but just the professional career.
Yeah.
What's your age again?
25.
So still probably finding your peak in your athletic form and peaking. Well, I don't know what age that might be for you, but what do you see happening? What's the goal? You seem like a proper dedicated individual. You're not going to come into something and just half-ass it. Is it something you want to fully pursue when you're going down that professional route?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I can't go half-ass with anything, mate, because it's from the age of 6-year-old. It's all linear progression with everything that I do anyways. So, like, you know, taking this, like, easing in mentality, I don't really have it. I don't really know how to do it, to be honest with you. So, like, it's just linear progression. Whatever I do, I need to be better at it. And that's it, really, mate. So, if I'm to make a professional debut, September, October, November, then that's what I'm going to do. That's it, mate.
We'll definitely come and watch that.
Yeah.
One question I want to ask is, are you good at sprinting?
Sprinting? You know what it is?
Them legs must generate some fucking torque,
Well,
mate.
that's what I mean. Like, we're doing some runs the other day. We're a pro from Golden team, and he's obviously been a professional for 10 years. I kept up to him on the first 2 on the hills, and I could have built the pace. Now, from my background, because of powerlifting, I'm not going to say I'm a fatigued per se.
Legs
but
just lactic acid a bit.
Yeah, because I've got a lot of muscle in there, but at the same time as holding a lot of muscle in there, there's a lot of strength in there as well. So when I built up the hills, it's you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
Reason I ask is because Paul told me yesterday that sprinters, to be at the top level, they've got to be able to, like, deadlift and squat 3 times their own body weight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You've got to have the balance, haven't you? You've got to have it all rounded.
And 3 times stronger than your own body weight.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the mix for that in a minute. So I'm about, what am I now? 90. Or this morning I was 99 kilos. Or, you know, through a good day of eating, I'm about 100 kilos. Now I believe in about 4 or 5 weeks I could deadlift 300 kilos. So
it's some feat, that, mate. That's good. That to say you
but
still
it took me a long time to get there, but I should have always been there. Like, the problem with putting weight on, like, obviously we've been 24.5 stone, is you lose your leverage, so your stomach comes over the bar, and you think the heavier you get, the stronger you get, but it doesn't always work like that. So the stronger you get, the heavier you get, you can get stronger to a certain extent, and then it'll stall, and you'll just keep putting unnecessary weight on, and then you will just maintain.
Do you study or like Mark Bell?
Matt Bell, I know Matt Bell, yeah.
He seems to have transitioned to more of an holistic way of
He's
living.
on like keto diet now, isn't he?
Well, he's played around with a
Well,
lot. I've seen him
mixture
carnivore,
diets,
meeting through.
yeah, that's
it's
right,
sort
that's
of
right.
elimination sort of diets.
Yeah.
And he's got into his running, and I think he sort of changed his ways
Yeah.
in training. He's more of a hybrid athlete now, sort of say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's more for marketability.
Yeah,
what he
it's
sells.
different. I don't think I could do keto now. I remember tagging the vertical diet when I lost the weight I lost, and Stanifording, well, not Stanifording specifically, but the vertical diet page on Instagram messaged me, and then Stanifording messaged me, and then it led to Mark Bell messaging me.
Nice.
Which it felt very good, mate, because from a young age, at 14-year-old, I look up to these people, and I see like Mark Bell messaging me, fucking Mark Bell from America.
See that.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's great, isn't it? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Do you think the vertical diet is a good staple for most people to look at?
I think it is a good. I think it's a good diet because it's high calorie dense food when it comes to your meat and your protein. So he's a big advocate of red meat, and then easily digestible carbohydrates, which is white rice, and then he believes in your carrots, your peppers, your spinach, which is low gas fiber, vegetables, which means basically you shit yourself on a daily basis. So like having like carrots, spinach, peppers with rice, and then a red meat. If you can easily digest that, it's your best for your buck in terms of your protein, carbs, and your,
and you can eat more of it then as well.
Yeah, you can eat
you're
more
able
of it,
to
mate.
eat.
I think with the thing with me, what I've come to find is white rice is when you eat white rice is you can go again 2 hours later. On a good level.
Was
though.
his diet there the one where he were mixing honey and some sort of fast acting sugar into the rice as well? Was that part of his
Yeah,
component?
you can do that as well because it's an easier way to get down the rice.
Yeah.
Like for example, he coached 4 to deadlift 501 kilos. Now I remember at that specific time I would deadlift in 340 kilos as a drug-free athlete, and I remember using a similar approach. And I remember thinking, I'll implement that myself. And I implemented it myself, and it's very easy to get down when you add little, like honey to rice and things like that, and even just things in your shake.
Yeah.
And it's performance, in my opinion, is all about what's used efficiently in terms of your nutrition. It's what's digested. That's my opinion, anyway.
It's the key, innit? What's putting
Yeah.
stuff
Like
in
if
there?
you're eating food, and then you're not digesting it, then you're just bloated. And then mid-session, I've got a max out squat. Let me go for a shit.
That's one thing I've never struggled with, digestion.
Yeah, but
for some
no,
reason,
Have you got a fast metabolism?
No. He says this. Let me give some context to this. He says this, mate. But if he'll come and sit and edit at my house 2-3 hours, maybe 4 hours a day, that room fucking stinks when you leave.
Is
mate.
it?
So that's a pure. I try and tell him, mate. That's a sign that something's
Like
not
you
digested.
fucking farted
Bro.
all over the
Oh,
place.
mate, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Since like primary school, my farts have just been fire.
Yeah, but then he did an intolerance check to sort of, even
Is
though we
it?
did the hair one, which we don't know how
shit,
true. No, hear me out though. We don't know how true read of a test is not doing
Yeah.
blood. But then he still eats the food groups that were in red
Yeah,
on there. So
yeah,
he's still
yeah,
putting
yeah.
the dairy in, still putting the gluten based products in there, which they told him to remove. And then no wonder he's fucking got fucking mud butts. You know what I mean? It's like
It feels all fine.
Yeah.
It's just
Something's
doesn't
not
smell
when
good.
when it smells like that. To me, that's a sign that it's not probably digested.
Yeah, I think it's one of them when you're fucking absolutely fucking shitting around or wherever you are, mate. If it stinks, mate, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's
You
an
reckon?
issue. No, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Have I got
let's,
to see a doctor, you reckon?
let's be honest. It's a problem, isn't it?
It's a problem, mate.
Are you
He's had
holding?
to
Are you
hospital.
holding those in when Emily's around? Or are you just fucking
No.
firing into some
No.
disgusting behaviour?
Oh, mate, just get them out, bro. Get them out. If they're not cooked dinner, bro, just fucking let them fart out. Do you know what I mean? You gotta get your meals ready, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
So have I got to see a doctor then, do you reckon, about that?
What's that?
Have I got to see
I
a
just
doctor
think
about
stop
this?
Yeah.
stop using dairy. It's a fairly easy fucking solution
Yeah.
for you, mate. Just pull it
I
out.
don't have dairy anymore. Lactose free me now, mate.
Oh yeah.
Lactose free.
Or do you use lactose-free milk?
Lactose free. I only have a little bit a day, to be honest with you, because I used to have so much a day. So I used to have a litre of chocolate milk a day. I don't know. You know, have you followed like performance sports over the years and stuff? Like chocolate milk is very much.
Well, do you know, there's an old friend of mine,
performance.
Alex Cannon. He was like he's a bit of a fitness model. He's got some good businesses now, but
Yeah.
he were a big chocolate milk guy. He always had it after gym.
Yeah, it's very
Well,
much.
Rich Frodin, I saw doing that.
Rich Frodin, very CrossFit-y, like performance, like your salts and your sugars and your chocolate milk. A litre of chocolate milk after every session. things like that. And the thing is with me is that it when it started all right, and then fucking hell, mate, over weeks and that, I'd have a litre of chocolate milk, mate. I'd be a mess, mate. Do you know what I mean? Digestion just messed up.
I notice I get a bit sniffly after using a lot of dairy. Like it must affect you. It must some inflammation or something to do with your breathing. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I find.
Yeah, it can mess a lot of things up, mate. I just don't do dairy anymore. I do lactose free. I do 150 millilitres on a morning with a latte, mate. That's all.
Well, John was a big advocate of Meadows of the raw milk, wasn't he? But it's hard to sort of source that.
Everyone's different. Everyone's very, very much different, and it depends on your background. It depends on your body weight as well. That's the thing. The thing with John Meadows is he implemented a lot of things based on his current physique. So John Meadows was very lean. And he had a lot of experience within bodybuilding over the years, and you know, we're a veteran, mate. Do you know what I mean? So then other people, like let's say we're overweight and they're holding too much fat. If you're having milk, you know, it just doesn't sit right with you. You need to lose a bit. I don't know. Like you need to get to a certain level of body weight, in my opinion, to like digest food. If I were about 2 stone heavier now and I were eating. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you need to get to a certain level of food.
Yeah.
A certain level of body weight, for example, to have your
Did
food
you
move
believe in
efficiently.
his philosophy, Mark Bell's, of those 10-minute walks after food?
10-minute walks. I love 10-minute walks, mate. Yeah. I mean, I don't do it now because I train ruthlessly anyway.
Well, you feel it could make sense for general population?
General population, mate. I think it worked great because you know, people eat food and they'll look for an escape straight away, so they'll sit in. Because, you know, when you're eating food and it's not digesting it efficiently, you sit there and you think,
yeah,
I'm fucking knackered. Have you ever eaten a big meal, boys, and you're knackered?
Yeah.
You need to move, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially on a fucking
My
Sunday.
eating's fucked at the minutes because, again, it's just, I have time to do it and I could prep and do all this stuff and I've got access to food when I want it. But I find myself now just fasting for a big proportionate day.
Yeah.
Working, then I'll try and make up for my calories somewhat on a night.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I'm not like, I used to always walk about at 90 kilos. I'm like 85 now, but that's just solely because I just know I'm not. And then when I'm getting to the end point of the day, you ain't eating your steak, your rice. You'll have your main meal, but then I'm just trying to make up for it by.
There's no way you're going to get all your protein in.
Well, I know I'm not doing it right, so I might explore this vertical diet again.
Yeah, I think you should, mate. I think it's a great diet. I think it's very sustainable. I think Stanifidin believes in the whole fact of like when people ask him the question, "What's the best diet?" His response is always the best diet is the one you'll stick to.
The one you can follow easily.
Yeah, the one you will follow. So there's no best diet. It's the one that's more sustainable long term.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're not looking for a 12-week, 16-week plan. You're looking for a plan.
A lifestyle one.
A lifestyle at the end of the day, and I think once you get that lifestyle shift.
Do you think there's any merit in this ketogenic diet for
ketogenic? I think ketogenic's good for part of the general population, but I feel like for me, from speaking from experience, the keto diet is performance-wise.
No way.
I don't believe it because
you want carbs.
You need carbs, mate. I think when you're training to a certain level of intensity, you need carbohydrates. And keto diet, anyone who's experienced a keto diet after 3 days, you get brain fog. I've done it before. Part of my 9 stone weight loss is I lost 7.5 stone, and then for the remaining of the 1.5 stone, I implemented the keto diet. Not for very long, but I implemented it, and it was very much. It just wasn't for me, to be honest with you. I could have carried on losing weight with carbohydrates in the diet, to be honest with you. And this is the thing, like, everyone thinks, like, you can keep dropping weight. You can keep dropping weight with, like, less you eat sort of thing. But you can also lose weight with maintaining food and also hiring food when your metabolism's firing. You know what I mean? You don't have to just keep drop. Like, I'm losing weight now, and I've hired my food because my metabolism's firing, my activity levels going up.
Utilising them calories better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
I think
like,
a lot of people obsess there, don't
they?
About just like a lot of people have made a living probably just from this calories in, calories out argument. Keep it simple. What's it called? MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal.
Like
and all these. What do you believe in steps, you boys? What do you believe in steps?
What, as in?
Just general steps. What do you believe in it? Do you believe in it? Like steps?
Getting your steps in, you mean?
Yeah. What's
Do you mean
your
just for?
thoughts
Do
on it?
you mean just for a physical weight loss?
Generally,
I want to move
what
more.
mentally as well.
Yeah,
Mentally, what do you believe in?
More
steps?
mentally. If I'm out in nature and moving around, my fucking 100%
you count
feel
your
better.
steps.
Never.
You count your steps.
Never.
See, I agree. I wouldn't want to count my steps either.
No, I know days where I fucking moved around.
Well, I get it.
Active.
I get it to put it onto certain people and whatever else, but I don't know. Like, I believe use most of your brain's capacity.
Yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of people though, because you're so switched on, dialed in, driven, ambitious, then it's a no-brainer that if you move more and eat less, you're probably going to lose weight. But some people out there are just sat fucking watching Netflix all day.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I've got to get 1,000 steps in.
That small little goal to like do 10k steps today, it's like, right, at least that's somewhat manageable for me. They ain't gonna like probably be researching this diet, that diet, but trying to be a professional athlete. So I think for the general population, the reason why these coaches have probably risen to fame is that they've got quite a simple principle to follow.
Yeah, because obviously the thing with coaching is like, obviously one thing's worked for so long, and I don't think if it's not broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. And so like, they're looking for new things
fasting,
in society.
It gave rise to fasting, didn't it? People doing like 3-4 day fasts and intermittent fasting, this eating window, that eating window. It's like, but it's a no-brainer to me fasting that if you used to say there the best diet is the one that you can follow. Well, if you're confident and comfortable that in that eating window you can get your calories in, and that's a way for you to manage your calories on the back end, so you're not splurging all the time, then fair play. Maybe address that and try that, but you've just got to find what works for you.
You've got to find what works for you. Absolutely, I agree, mate. Definitely. Yeah, the best diet's the one you'll stick to, like I say. But
same with fitness and any sort of regime like that. I find myself sometimes, I'm like, why am I fucking trying to do? I did CrossFit for a while.
Where did you go for that?
I did it at Gaz Firms Gym, CrossFit Pontefract.
Yeah, I've been to Form before. You know Form in Leeds.
That's a nice gym.
Yeah,
I went to watch
really
a competition there. I've never trained there, but like CrossFit, I was just trying to, because I went in there with a decent strength base, not at your level, but I went in there, I could muscle a lot of the stuff. I could kick power cleans up. But when it came to doing stuff like snatching, which is a specific, well-executed lift, I had no right trying to do some of the weights that we're doing. It's you have to strip, because if I approached that with a little bit too much ego and you weren't scaling the workouts, you was getting hurt all the time. And because I wanted to catch up with the boys who were winning inside the gym, because it's all competition based, you want to beat your mate. And I was just trying to I was doing 2 a days and just beating myself into the ground too much. I bet you'd be good at CrossFit because you just fully commit to it.
I did a CrossFit session this morning.
Did
you? Which one did you say you see it on my Instagram? You?
That's right.
Yeah, see it on my Instagram. So it's a 500-meter run, 50 kettlebell swings. Obviously, there's a different level of fitness. There's getting fit underweight, and then there's getting fit generally. And I'm trying to build my tolerance up to getting fit underweight again. I feel like it's different gravy completely, to be honest with you. I think I used to go to a CrossFit gym with my brother, which is the Form in Leeds, which I just mentioned. And it's very different. Like, you can run, you can do interval runs, but as soon as weights gets put under your body, under load, when you do that,
CrossFit was a nice feeling because it was varied. I like that idea that an 100 kilo deadlift, which would be easy to do just unfatigued and just doing it set by set. That you've gone and done a 400-meter run full pelt, or you've just hit a row, hit a hard bike, or done something else to get your heart rate jacked up. To then approach that lift, it were a different feeling. That's the first thing that I felt with CrossFit. Wow, it's different energy systems. It's
different energy systems completely, definitely. Definitely.
If you're putting your body under fatigue with that weight, then when you're moving about in a boxing ring with no extra weight on top,
no extra weight, I think it's very much. It's unbelievable, mate. I think it helps a ton, I think it helps a ton. I just feel like when you get put under weight, it's a shock to the system if you haven't done it, and vice versa. You know.
You mentioned earlier about being a drug-free athlete. Does that still apply? Have you always been natural then?
Drug-free, mate. Always drug-free, because I believe. So I'll be honest with you, mate. I was very close to taking steroids. You know, so I was very tempted to taking steroids. I had a 340 kilo deadlift, a 340 kilo squat, 220 kilo bench press at 20 years old, drug free. All thanks to my dad and all thanks to my training partners and whatever else. And I was that close to taking steroids just because of my addictive personality. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, everyone, like you'll have experienced it before. Like, you do something, you get to a certain point, you know.
I use
Oh,
roids way too early, mate.
Have you used roids? Then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
So this is what I mean. So I understand. I'm too, not to take a dig at you or anything. I'm too smart for that in the sense
I was
of like.
I was too gullible, mate.
Yeah, that's
So
what I mean.
I'd come back from university.
Yeah.
I'd been training. I'd seen a friend. I looked at him. I was just like, "What the fuck's gone on here?" Because I asked questions straight away.
You see, and you can tell a physique of a person on steroids
Well,
straight away. Like I can. Anyway.
Well, his physique had just changed too quick.
Yeah.
So I was just
And-
like,
and-
straight away in your head, you're just like, "Fucking,
Yeah.
give me some."
Yeah.
And
And give you some.
then
But
it's hard to get off that merry-go-round. Then
absolutely, and so like, yeah, mate, 100%. And then I almost fell into that racket. Like, there's a guy called Luke Richardson, and he's competed in the World's Strongest Man. Now, at the time, he wouldn't know who I am, but I knew who he was. And at the time, he was the IPF world record holder, and he totaled 1,000. So at the time in the gym, I totaled 900 kilos at 20 years old, and at 21, I think he was 21, he totaled 1,000 kilos, which was the youngest person to ever total 1,000 kilos, drug free. So I was going for that, and I wanted to go on. I wouldn't say I wanted to go on the gear for it, but like I believe I could have done it natural, to be honest with you. But it was one of them. Like every person I competed with in my previous competitions, they're at the world's strongest man now. So, you know, now looking back, I always think to myself, what if, you know?
yeah.
But it's one of those things, man. Like to me now, looking back, it's a blessing in disguise.
And what made you not make that decision?
My dad, mate. To be honest with you, my dad.
That's good that you've got. That's
my
good
dad,
that you had that.
My dad, mate, because through that, he were in hospital at the time, and he went through hospital, and he said to me, "Only do it when it's right. Only do it when it's right, and you're mentally right. Don't do it because you're trying to follow sheep, kind of thing." Mm-hmm. So like I was doing it, so I always did it off my own back. So then he were in hospital, and at the time, mate, he were in the ICU unit, fighting for his life. To be honest with you, mate, I'm not gonna lie. He was fighting for his life, and they had tubes down his neck and stuff like that. And it changed my perspective of life completely. To be honest with you, of just like thinking about the quality of life. And at the time, I was like 24.5 stone. I was 24.5 stone, and I thought to myself, I'm sat in here, my family's absolutely torn to bits, and I'm trying to think to myself, oh, I'll go on steroids while I'm overweight and unhealthy already as it is. And so that's the start of when I started to lose my 9 stone. And then from them, mate, it's...
Respect for that, mate. Take some mental, especially in that game where it's numbers based.
Yeah,
you're at 900 kilo. You can see someone who's just what's your 100 kilo weight total combined, whatever the difference is there.
Yeah,
steroids. You know,
you
probably.
I know for a fact, like it sounds very cockily said here right now, but I know for a fact if I'd have carried on, I'd have been at the world's strongest man now. I know I would have done. I'm not the tallest of guys, but in terms of a static strength alone, I would have been like with the top.
Have you been in their company ever? What are the brothers called?
Stoltzman brothers. I've never met the Stoltzman brothers, mate. No, but I've met a few other like top powerlifters involved in the organisation, like Darren Sadler. Darren Sadler runs the Giants Live, and he runs the gym in York called Absolute Fitness. I've trained over there with a guy called Jonty Banks, which helped me sort of like tweak up a little things with my deadlift and squat at the back end of my like powerlifting career and stuff like that. And so I met him. I met Andy Bolton, the first man to deadlift 1,000 kilos. I spoke to him on a good level. I
rewatched that the other day. I rewatched when Eddie did the
500 kilo. Yeah.
He's fucking just
I remember a particular time when he won
blood.
What 500 kilo deadlift?
Yeah, when
a guy just lifted 1,000.
Who says that?
Did you just say a guy lifted 1,000?
Andy Bolton, the first man to deadlift 1,000 kilos.
Was it a conventional bar though?
Yeah, so he deadlifted 1,000 kilos raw, meaning no straps, and belt in a suit still, but just no straps. And then Eddie Hall was the first person to deadlift 500 kilos, like in a suit and straps. The first director in Leeds. I was there for that actually, and I remember specifically before that I was training in a gym in Wakefield called Pierre Gym, and they were messaging me individually, telling me my percentages and stuff like that on my weights at the time when I was like my peak strength, so like a 340 kilo deadlift and stuff like that. And now looking back, fucking Eddie Hall's a top dog now, and do you know what I mean? Like he's earning some money and stuff like that. So looking back now, mate, it's quality. Do you know what I mean? And but he knows his stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know, Eddie Hall
He's
knows his
intelligent,
stuff.
is Eddie Hall,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's very intelligent, mate. He's very
He's
intelligent.
turned pretty influency as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's
I saw him
done
with
that
Tommy
charity
Fury. I saw him doing something with Tommy Fury YouTube video of him.
Tommy, yeah, I watched that other day. Actually,
Tommy, we
yeah.
ain't good in cold plunge, were he?
No. That's something I do.
What
Every
did he have
day,
that? Do you have it where you can get it to like 6 degrees, 3 degrees, like he would do?
What, an ice tub?
Yeah.
So I've got an ice machine in my back garden, and I pretty much throw in. It's equivalent to probably like 10 bags of ice. It's fucking cold, mate. I've never measured it. But it's very fucking cold.
How long are you doing in that then?
Do 5 minutes in the cold.
With the 10 bags of ice?
Yeah, 10 bags of ice, 5 minutes of cold. I remember buying a tub, about £80 it was.
That's what I've got.
Yeah. So buy a tub, and then we built a little wooden like cushy little thing around it,
Nice.
to make it look clean, and then sat in it for about 5 minutes, and then a hot tub for 5 minutes, 5 and 5. Do 3 rounds of that. Mate, it's
Feel brand new.
It's great.
Have you thought about buying a
Mate,
sauna?
it's fucking when you go back in hot after cold.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You ever done it? You ever done it?
Maybe I need a tub then.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, it's great.
Do you
It's
finish
great.
do you finish on the cold?
I finish on the cold always.
And then warm up
I finish on
naturally.
the no. I just yeah. I just finish on the cold always. In the house for a cup of Yorkshire, mate.
Nice.
Cup of brew. You know what I mean?
We do, and I'm going to ask him on camera so he can't say no to us. We're going to start like a bit of an offshoot show, like day in the life. I'd love to do it with you. Just
What's
sort of
that?
follow it, just a day where we
Yeah.
just sort of come with camera and us and we try and.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing fucking 10 bags of ice in thing.
Come mate to mine sometime, boys. Come
Yeah,
to mine.
mate,
It's
that'd be sick,
quality,
that.
honestly.
Make a full day of it.
Have you? I'm going to quiz your mind while you're here. Have you toyed with the idea of a sauna, infrared?
So, but fucking hell, I don't know why I've mentioned this. I've got a sauna in it back as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got a sauna in it back. It's not as strong as your typical like commercial, like your bloody Valentine's and stuff like that. But it's strong enough. You know, mate, I just go in there and just fucking cringely as it said, mate. I just go in there and fucking visualize a load of shit. Do you know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, it manifests.
Yeah.
I know
Are you religious? Because I saw you.
I'm very religious,
That's
mate.
good,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, very religious on and off. When I say on and off, it's a battle, mate. To be honest with you, because one of my exes at a particular time got me into. I say that, but at the same time, like I've always been open to it from a young age, probably about 16 years old, and I've been religious, but I think from the environment I'm involved in, meaning my family, you are your environment at the end of the day. So when I go with my family, in a sense of like, use my own brain to think about what I'm going to do, it doesn't seem natural to go to church.
Was it a life
stuff
church
like
you
that.
visited?
What's that?
Was it a life church you visited?
Yeah, so it's the Bridge Community Church in Leeds that I go to. Every Sunday I go there. And then on Wednesdays I go to Bible study with a guy called Pastor Bauer. And I just study the Bible. I'd be lying if I said I were absolutely interested in it on that level, but mate, I'm interested enough because...
You must be enough if you're going twice a week.
Yeah, that's it, mate, because I'm a big believer in like I believe in God. I'm a God-fearing man, 100,000%, mate. As much as it seems weird to say that, considering the family I'm from, that we're not a religious family, and so like when you start talking like this, it's a bit like, what you doing?
When you say
You know,
God,
have you ever? You know what I mean?
but when you say God-fearing man, is
God-fearing man, mate, meaning like, everything I think about doing in my life, I think God while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
What, in terms of that you will be judged at the end?
100%, mate.
It's a good way to
I've
live by.
experienced too much to like. I've been with an ex who's been on. I'm not gonna say any names, but I've been on the ex who's been on the X Factor, and like I'm gonna sit here and say now I've seen contracts like not so good contracts. Let's just say that.
What do you mean by that?
Just
Signing your
the
soul
more you know about Jesus, the more you know about the devil. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Like that's my experience. I know that
What's
for a fact.
what's the gentleman that I was talking about the other day who's pushing Christ heavily? Zerka. You heard of this guy yet?
Zerka.
Doing the rounds.
Who's that?
He's a bit of a YouTuber guy, and
He's a YouTuber who's doing the rounds, but he's got a solid position with Christianity.
Yeah.
That's the message he's pushing, and is similar to that. Whereas when you peel the curtain back to some of these mainstream influencers, he's sort of saying the devil's at play there a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the more you know about Jesus Christ, you know about the devil. I feel like when you go into it blind, in a sense of like you go into open yourself to Christianity, you learn about God, and then you specifically think about God, but then you don't always get what you want with that. Meaning, when you meet God, and you try and communicate God with the Holy Spirit, you'll meet the devil at the same time. I feel like it's I just know for a fact that I've experienced it, mate, definitely.
So you've got the religious side of you there. Would you then push into the idea of this spiritual side as well? You're a spiritual man.
I'm a spiritual man, yeah.
You ever played around with, I know you're drug free, ever played around with any psychedelics?
No.
Never?
No. I've seen on this podcast that you've mentioned it.
Well, we went to the recovery throat in Leeds. You'll have to go visit there. We'll get you connected there and just floated in the tank for what we do, 75 minutes.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a puff of...
oh, did you?
Yeah, just to get in.
Just
to get set.
Good, mate.
Yeah.
You have to watch the vlog. We've just posted it recently.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
What do you think to this influencer space with the boxing and what's going on at the minute?
I think it's good, mate, but I want a little dip in, to be honest. I want a little dip in. I don't see why not. I feel like I deserve it. I feel like I can get in there. I feel like. What do you think? What do you both?
Well, we're potentially going to watch Kingpin Boxing Show next week if it hasn't been cancelled. There's a rumor going around.
Bankrupt, apparently.
It's gone bankrupt, and we've just booked his flights and hotel. Well, the full business has just gone down. I think.
What, Sutherland Brothers and that?
Oh no, sorry. So they're Misfits.
But Matchroom said they might come to save the day. So
is that what? So money.
Yeah. So obviously there's Misfits, there's Kingpin, the one that we've been to watch Misfits a couple of times. There's a few. That'd be a good show for you, to be fair.
Went to Telford. It was a right show.
Yeah, it was a really good show. Well,
you've been to one before?
We've been to watch one, mate. There was a really good show in Telford. There was.
You asked me off camera though about if I want to get into fighting. I'll do tag team if he's my tag team partner.
Oh, bro, that's it. We watched
yeah.
We'll just have a bit. Me and you will just have a bit of a strategy. Say, listen, you just fucking do about 8% at work, mate. I'll come and just fucking finish it.
I'll just throw it up. I'll throw it up. You throw it straight.
Fucking that's the one.
Bro, we watched Misfits and they did a tag team fight.
I've seen it where they just clip through ropes.
Yeah, we were there and watched that.
Oh, so you watched it?
It was good, bro, to watch. I won't lie. Like, as a fucking, just as a spectacle, mate. It was good to watch that. In with mullet as well. Fucking.
B-Dave.
What's that Mexican called?
Pineda.
Yeah. Do you know the top dog of the heavyweight division in Misfits? What's his name?
It's Temper.
Temper.
Summit Temper. Let me find him now. I've got him on Instagram. I follow me because we watched his last
fight,
bro.
Do you follow him, yeah?
Yeah, he can have a scrap, mate.
Can he have a scrap?
He can have a scrap, bro. If you're up for it.
Is that the name you're fancying then, if you were to?
Are you guys cementing this? Are you trying to like...
I think it'd be a good fight because he can throw some bombs, mate.
Yeah?
And to be fair, he's a game kid. He's only a young guy.
Get me his full name.
How old is he?
I think he's like 20, 21 years old, but he's lost like probably similar to what you've lost. I think he's lost like probably 7 or 8 stone.
Yeah.
And they put him against this big black jeweler from America.
Oh, I remember watching this.
You remember this? We'll clip it up so everybody who's watching knows.
Temper be good. Temper be good fight.
Have you watched it? Have you seen any of his fights whatsoever?
No, I've never seen it before. No.
Let me find him for you, bro.
Yeah, we went to Telford.
Tempo Arts.
Is that his trainer's second name, McDonough?
So Tempo Arts.
Oh, right, okay.
You reckon he can knock him?
You seen this guy?
No comment.
Bro, he's game. I can send him a little voice.
Send him a voice note.
Have you spoken to him before?
Send him a voice note now.
No, I've never spoke to him, but I follow the guy.
You follow the guy? Does he follow you?
Nah, I don't think he follows me.
Yeah. Too top dog for that.
Yeah.
51k is the
So let me tell you about Tempo Arts. He's 2-0. His weight loss story is on TikTok. He's 19 years old.
Yeah.
Peter McDonough boxer is his manager.
So the second name is McDonough, right?
Yeah,
okay. So same as Peas then.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, so that sort of.
And his name's
Hey,
Peter
this is getting
as well.
tasty
The
now,
universe
boys.
is guiding us, boys. Don't worry.
Bro.
This is
Let's
the
go.
one.
This is the guy. I
okay.
want to see this now. And you actually look a little bit like him, a little bit.
Better looking.
Listen, I'm better looking.
Better
Let's
looking
relax,
version,
boys.
let's That's sick. Right, boys. Are we? I want to get a training session in. So.
Yeah.
Are you training today?
I'm going to train today, I think, boys, yeah.
I appreciate your time today, mate.
Yeah,
Good chat, that.
Let's link up again.
Happy
Good
boys?
Cheers for that, mate.
Respect.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
boys.